as that group was, they noticed a small piece called Losing Chase that was way under the radar.
They wanted you to believe Hollywood finally snapped, that a queen of dignity walked onto the Golden Globe stage and publicly torched Meghan Markle. But what if the most viral celebrity takedown of the decade never actually happened? The internet exploded. 50 million views in 48 hours. Feeds flooded. Comment sections combusted. People didn't just watch, they celebrated. A moment that felt like Judgment Day. Dame Helen Mirren, royalty incarnate, allegedly stopping mid-speech at the Golden Globes and calmly slicing Meghan Markle to pieces in front of Hollywood's elite. And the scariest part? It looked perfect. The podium, the Golden Globes logo glowing behind her, that exact baby pink Stella McCartney gown. The lighting, broadcast level flawless. The audio, crystal clear. Camera angles, identical to every awards night you've ever seen. Nothing screamed fake. Nothing felt off. No dramatic exaggeration. No obvious satire, just composed, elegant condemnation. She appeared to pause. The room went silent. And then Meghan. The Voice criticized her decision to step away from royal duties, questioned California, framed her exit as ambition, not survival. The language was surgical, polite, almost British. No yelling, no cruelty, just disappointment. The most believable form of judgment. Reaction shots sealed the illusion. Meryl Streep nodding, Oprah unsmiling, Tom Hanks laughing softly, Kate Blanchett amused. Hollywood united, or so it seemed. And that's when commentary channels pounced. Within hours, long breakdown videos appeared. Frame by frame dissections, slow motion pauses, confident narrators speaking as if this was already confirmed history. No original broadcast feeds, no official sources, just certainty. And certainty is contagious. Specific phrases went viral. She spoke to her like a child. She turned pain into performance. She blurred the line between acting and real life. Each sentence was treated like an intentional dagger, a moral judgment, proof that Hollywood had finally turned its back on the so-called fake royals. The clip didn't spread once, it spread everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, each platform treating it as brand new content. Algorithms pushed it separately. Coordinated early sharing sent it straight into recommendation feeds before anyone had time to breathe. 500,000 views in the first hour, 5 million in 6 hours, 25 million in a day, 50 million in 2. Screenshots multiplied, remixes exploded. Reaction videos outpaced the original uploads. And yet, something was missing. No entertainment outlet reported it. No trade journalist mentioned it. No live tweeting awards reporter reacted. Broadcast networks stayed silent. Official Golden Globes accounts posted nothing. The moment never occurred. But instead of raising suspicion, the silence fueled something darker. People didn't see the lack of coverage as proof of fabrication. They saw it as suppression, a cover-up, protection for Meghan. Hollywood closing ranks. Fact checks came later. Reuters, The Guardian, full transcripts, timestamps, side-by-side comparisons, clear explanations of how the audio was generated, the reactions stitched together, the speech rewritten after the ceremony. But the corrections barely traveled because the hoax didn't spread on logic, it spread on emotion. Comment sections turned hostile. Corrections were dismissed as elite protection. Some argue the video was emotionally true even if the words weren't. That someone should have said it. That made it valid. And once belief hardens, truth becomes optional. People didn't want to admit they'd been fooled. Sharing felt intentional. Backtracking felt embarrassing. So instead, they searched for confirmation. Old interviews, unrelated clips, random quotes layered with fake audio, context stripped, dates ignored, assumptions stitched into evidence. Tiny flaws existed, mouth movements slightly off, facial tension unnatural, but they vanished on phones. Most viewers watched once. Few replayed closely. By the time the truth surfaced, the lie had already become memory. Some swore they saw it live. Others recalled audience reactions that never happened. A fabricated moment turned into collective recollection. And here's the real reason it worked. It filled a vacuum. Meghan's Hollywood momentum had already slowed. Projects stalled. Coverage thinned. Defenders went quiet. The video gave that silence a story. A single, shareable moment explaining everything people felt but couldn't prove. But the truth? Dame Helen Mirren never mentioned Meghan Markle that night. Not once. She received the Cecile B. DeMille Award, thanked the Golden Globes, joked lightly, announced the winner, left the stage. That's it. And here's the twist that makes the hoax feel almost cruel. In real life, Helen Mirren had done the opposite of attack Meghan. She publicly praised her, called her charming, gracious, sweet-natured, supported her decision to step back from royal life. Even joked that once tabloids were done with Meghan, they'd come for her next. That history, that credibility was weaponized. An actress who won an Oscar for playing Queen Elizabeth II carries institutional authority. When her voice appears to judge Meghan, audiences don't hear opinion, they hear verdict. And the technology? It didn't need perfection. Voice cloning software trained on minutes of interviews, carefully written lines matching her cadence. Lip sync overlays smoothing mismatches frame by frame. Subtle flaws invisible at normal playback speed. It wasn't made to fool experts, it was made to fool scrolling thumbs. And the payoff? Massive. One anonymous creator reportedly pulled in hundreds of thousands within days. Patreon subscribers skyrocketed. Ad revenue poured in. No suspensions. No legal threats. No consequences. The message was loud and clear. Fabrication pays. Immediately. And once people accepted that version of events, the question changed. It was no longer, did Helen Mirren say this? It became, why did Hollywood turn on Meghan? And that question opens a far more uncomfortable door. The lie didn't land because people were stupid. It landed because the ground was already cracked. By the time that fake Golden Globes moment exploded, Meghan's Hollywood story was no longer moving forward. It was stalling in slow, uncomfortable silence. No press conference, no scandal, no dramatic fallout, just doors quietly not opening anymore. And Hollywood doesn't slam doors, it just stops answering texts. Deals that once sounded seismic began to feel hollow in hindsight. The Netflix announcement was thunderous. Headlines screamed 9 figures, global influence, creative freedom. But months passed, then years. And the output? Sparse, carefully controlled, self-contained. No spin-offs, no expansions, no industry-wide momentum. Spotify followed the same arc. Big announcement, long wait, one polished season. Then, goodbye. And when an executive finally spoke, it wasn't diplomatic, it was blunt, irritated, dismissive. That kind of honesty only appears when a relationship is already dead. Hollywood noticed. The documentary did numbers, yes, but numbers without longevity are a warning sign. View once, move on. No rewatch culture, no sustained buzz, no follow-up greenlight. That's not success in this town, that's containment. Then came the lifestyle pivot. Soft lighting, cozy kitchens, rebranding away from conflict. The debut looked promising until it vanished just as fast. Sliding charts, quiet exits, no renewal talk, no press victory laps. And here's the part fans hate to admit, Meghan didn't step into anyone else's sandbox. No scripted acting, no outside producing roles, no festival appearances that weren't Sussex branded, no competitive bids, no industry integration. Everything stayed in-house. That's not power, that's isolation. Meanwhile, the speaking circuit told its own story. Once commanding top-tier fees, bookings slowed, not canceled loudly, just not booked anymore. The industry's way of saying the value equation changed. And then something even louder happened. The allies disappeared. After the Oprah interview, celebrities lined up fast. Public support poured in. Moral framing, emotional solidarity, it felt untouchable. But over time, those voices faded. Not with arguments, not with betrayals, just distance. One former vocal defender publicly clarified they weren't close. No drama, just separation. And then there was Tyler Perry, the most telling silence of all. He didn't just support Meghan and Harry, he rescued them, opened his home, provided security, flew them privately, protected them when no one else would. That wasn't Hollywood politeness. That was loyalty. They named him family. So when Perry later faced his own crisis, massive, reputation-threatening, the absence of public support wasn't just noticeable. It was deafening. No statements, no appearances, no visible solidarity. And in Hollywood, silence isn't neutral. It's a calculation. By then, the math had shifted. Association carried risk. And when risk outweighs reward, even the strongest bonds loosen. This is how reputations collapse now. Not through scandal, but through evaporation. Which brings us back to the fake Helen Mirren moment. That video didn't create the idea that Hollywood had turned away. It confirmed a feeling people already had. It gave confusion a timestamp. It gave distance a villain. It gave silence a voice. And once people felt like they'd seen the moment, they stopped questioning everything else. Here's what makes this dangerous, not just for Meghan, but for everyone. Fabricated events don't need to be true anymore. They just need to fit. Fit existing narratives. Fit emotional expectations. Fit algorithmic reward systems. The platforms don't care about accuracy. They care about watch time. Anger keeps people watching. Validation keeps them sharing. Moral certainty keeps them commenting. Corrections don't stand a chance. They're boring. They ask people to admit they were wrong. They remove the dopamine hit, so belief hardens, memory forms, and fiction becomes functional reality. Millions now reference a moment that never happened as proof. It shapes how future projects are judged, how headlines are read, how silence is interpreted. And the cruel irony? Defending against a lie means repeating it. Public figures can't fight ghosts without amplifying them. They can't chase every fabricated clip across platforms designed to forget yesterday's truth. This isn't about Meghan alone. This is the blueprint now. Invented quotes, synthetic scandals, manufactured confrontations, all profitable, all fast, all low risk, all devastating. Careers won't end with trials or expose. They'll end with quiet withdrawals and then a viral lie explaining why. That's why the Helen Mirren hoax worked. Not because it was perfect, not because people were careless, but because it arrived at the exact moment protection vanished. And once protection disappears, perception fills the gap. Dame Helen Mirren never attacked Meghan Markle, but belief doesn't need facts to function anymore. It only needs timing. And once timing locks in, the damage is already done. The damage is already done. The damage is already done.